Hello HR students. Today we'll talk about the strategies. What are the strategies adopted by companies for international growth when they want to expand internationally? What are the common strategies which are used by companies? So the common strategies used are global integration, where they integrate or they join up with the global economy by selling global products, local responsive strategy, and the third one is going for joint ventures or alliances. So one by one we will see what are these strategies. So global integration strategy has been adopted by many companies who have been successful in adopting this strategy and expanding their business internationally. So here I am talking about a Finnish company from Finland, that is Finnish company means Finland, 100-year-old company which started its business in paper and then it went on to become the world's biggest producer of mobile phones. So, which sells in more than 150 countries. So here I am talking about Nokia company. A few years ago, Nokia was a leader in the market. Now Nokia is no longer the leader in the market, but a few years ago, Nokia was a very well-known name in mobile phones. So this is the example of Nokia company which adopted the global integration strategy. So here, by adopting the global integration strategy, the company has centralized control. That means from headquarters, they control their key operations and also their key strategic resources. Key operations means the most important operations which are critical for the company's success like R&D, manufacturing, logistics or supply chain management, marketing, etc. Some companies also centrally control HR and procurement, that is purchase of materials for the company. So the companies which adopt this strategy of global integration, they think the world is a single market and they sell a global product throughout the world, and whatever decisions they take regarding their company operations, it applies to the whole world as such. So when the companies adopt such a strategy, that is global integration, they are mainly selling to global customers who are homogeneous. That means these global customers have similar taste and preferences. They are similar in their demographics and characteristics, and such companies, they do not bother about the country borders. They give more importance to regions in the world like European region, Asian region, American region, like that. So here we'll talk about Nokia's global integration strategy. So Nokia was centrally controlling its R&D investments. It has centrally controlled the technology, product development, supply chain management, marketing. So all the key activities of the company were centrally controlled. So this led to the company being a success. So whatever the key strategic decisions of the company were also centrally controlled. If there was any conflict in any particular subsidiary regarding the between employees or management or between customers and the company, these conflicts were also resolved centrally. That means from the headquarters, and the headquarters also controlled data gathering, that is collecting data and analyzing data, so that they were able to take fast decisions in order to change according to the dynamic changes that were happening in the global business environment. So such companies, they all the key operations and key major decisions of the company were all centrally controlled at their headquarters. So the subsidiaries, that means these companies, wherever they set up their operations in other countries, the foreign subsidiaries, they depended on headquarters for directions, for resources, for information, and they used to implement the headquarter strategies. So such firms who adopted the global integration strategy in order to expand their business internationally, they were called as mega national firms. And these firms got a competitive advantage as compared to other firms which were only dealing with the domestic market. The other examples of companies which adopted the global integration strategy is famous example is Gillette, how the razor blade is a global product which is sold throughout the world, and also example of Japanese and Korean companies which sell low cost standardized products like electronic goods, automobiles, cameras, copiers, that is Xerox machines, throughout the world in various parts of the world. So these companies also, they centrally controlled their product development, their manufacturing, and they also controlled their marketing, and they also developed economies of scale. That means wherever they set up operations, factories, they set up huge factories which could produce tons of the product in a day, so thereby their cost reduced and the quality of the product could also be maintained, standardized quality could be maintained. So such kind of mega national companies which adopted global integration strategy, they sold products, wide variety of products which range from high technology products like automobiles, cameras to fast food items. So these companies, they reduce their costs and they maintain their quality by centrally controlling all the strategic important operations of the company and thereby being comparatively ahead of other companies in the world. So Nokia also achieved economies of scale in manufacturing. It centrally controlled its R&D, marketing, product development, all these key operations. So it was able to achieve success in the international business by adopting a global integration strategy. Now we will see the advantages of global integration. There are many advantages if companies adopt global integration strategy. One is they can use the resources which are available globally, whatever resources like labor or material or technology, any resources which were available globally, they could use it, and they were also able to achieve economies of scale. That means they were able to develop huge factories where tons or quantity of their product could be produced. They also achieved value chain linkage. They served global customers. They developed global brands and they were able to leverage their capabilities. They were able to achieve world-class standardized products. They became more competitive and they also had access to the latest information. Now, one by one, we'll see the advantages of global integration. A company which centralizes or centrally controls its manufacturing or its supply chain management greatly reduce their costs, especially their per unit cost. So the companies which adopted this global integration strategy, they set up a number of factories which had large facilities all over the world where they could produce tons quantity of the product in a day, and they also developed a good network to supply their products, supply chain management. They developed a network of logistics which was centrally controlled, so they were able to achieve economies of scale by adopting this strategy. Value chain linkage they were able to achieve by tightly controlling their strategic operations like R&D, manufacturing, marketing, etc. from the headquarters itself. So by controlling their key operations, they were able to maintain the value of their products and deliver value to customers. So thus they were able to get competitive advantage, and they also became technological leaders. Like for example, Silicon Valley in America is a leader in internet equipment business. It is well known as a place where you can get internet equipment. It is a leader in producing again internet equipment for the entire world. Also, the global integration strategy gives the advantage to companies to sell to global customers who are present throughout the world. They purchase from any part of the world. So, the companies, wherever the company has set up its operations, the global customers can access the products from any part of the world, so they could get global prices, global quality standards, and global delivery terms. All were be achieved by companies which followed this global integration strategy. And also, these companies were able to develop global brands, which became very successful, like Coca Cola, Gillette, and all are well known global brands which sell throughout the world. These are customized products, they are standardized products, they have standard quality, standard prices, and they are able to successfully sell throughout the world. And also, a few years ago, these companies used to also have a single advertising theme. They used to use a single advertisement to sell their product throughout the world. But now companies are adapting their advertisement according to the local needs of the population wherever they are selling the product. Like for example, if you see Coca-Cola, it comes out with advertisements which are suitable for the Indian population. Like they will bring out advertisements regarding our Indian festivals like Deepavali and all. This is to attract the Indian population. So such kind of companies which develop global brands, they become more efficient in advertising and merchandising. Leveraging capabilities means the companies wherever in the domestic market, whatever is their strength, whatever is their capability, they are able to leverage, they are able to transfer it to the world market and achieve success. So that is what is meant by leveraging capabilities. So for example, Walmart. It is the world's number one retailer. So their strength is their low price. Their low price strategy, they sell their products at such low prices no other retailer can sell at such low prices. This was their success strategy. This same strategy they applied when they expanded internationally. So they were able to achieve success throughout the world when they started selling in other countries, because what was their strength was the very low prices of their products, which no other company could beat them in. And also these companies achieved world-class standardized products because they were centrally controlling, directly they were supervising the key strategic operations of the company. So they were able to make sure that their products which were produced were of world-class standards and of very high quality. Like for example, Merck, the pharmaceutical company, it produces medicines. Wherever it was producing a medicine in whichever country, they used to produce the medicines according to the government requirement of that country, wherever they were selling, and they were able to maintain the high quality of their medicines. And they were also able to achieve competitive advantage because they tightly controlled their subsidiaries from headquarters. So whatever the subsidiaries required, direction, resources, information, all was supplied from the headquarters, and it was tightly controlled from the headquarters itself. So the companies were able to maintain low cost, they were able to maintain the high quality of their products, they were able to come out with standardized products, they were able to maintain standardized operations. So like that, they were able to achieve competitive advantage. So here I have given the example of Japanese MNCs, multinational companies, Japanese, how they entered the new markets. They were tightly controlled from their headquarters, Japan, and they were able to sell their products at highly subsidized rates, which brought them great success. So this is how the Japanese MNCs, by adopting the global integration strategy, they were able to achieve great success in the international market. And also these firms which adopted the global integration strategy were also able to get the information advantage because to survive in the world market they needed access to latest information, they needed to have all the latest information so that they were able to take quick decisions and change according to the changes that were happening in the global business environment and make use of the opportunities that were happening in the global business environment. So that is how Procter and Gamble achieved success. Their key success factor is their innovation. Their product innovation, they were able to come out with innovative products at regular intervals and sell worldwide. Why? Because this technological innovation operation was centrally controlled from their headquarters. Only their packaging and advertisements were according to the local population needs wherever they were selling their products. The hard facts like industry, market characteristics are also controlled centrally by globally integrated firms, and also the soft factors like the company's culture, what is their management style, that also these companies were controlling from their headquarters. So the companies which achieve success by adopting this global integration strategy is, some of the examples are Walmart, which is the world's number one retailer, and Coca-Cola, which is the world's number one in soft drink beverages, and McDonald's in fast food. So the tools which are used for global integration. What are the tools which are used to achieve global integration. There are 5 tools used. Some of the tools are of direct control and some of the tools are of indirect control. Direct control means the power is directly applied by the company, it is visible to everybody. Those direct tools for global integration are the first three, that is centralization or personal control, standardization, and contracting. The other two tools, socialization and mutual adjustment, are coordination tools where power is used indirectly to control the operations of the company in various subsidiaries. So, personal control through centralization. Here, from headquarters, senior people come down, senior expatriates, they visit the companies wherever, whichever foreign country they have their operations, they visit those countries and they personally look into the operations of the subsidiaries and they directly control. So this is how they were able to control the operations in various subsidiaries by personally controlling the operations of the subsidiaries from the headquarters itself. Standardized control is also a tool of direct control where the companies, whichever company which followed global integration strategy like Gillette or Nokia or Walmart, they came out with formal standardized work rules, processes and procedures. So they had some rules, some procedures, some processes which were standardized in their subsidiaries. So this was all written down, all these standardized rules and procedures were written down, like they had a standardized procedure for recruitment, for safety measures. All these various procedures and processes were standardized, how they do performance appraisal, how they train their employees, how they find solution to customer problems, that is knowledge diffusion. All these were uh, controlled by some standardized rules, processes and procedures which were developed by such kind of mega national companies. Then contracting. Contracting is where control is exercised on the subsidiaries by having a control on the output of these subsidiaries. So those subsidiaries or those employees which achieve the targets or objectives of the company, they were rewarded, they were given bonuses. Which of the employees who did not achieve the target or did not achieve the objective was replaced. So mainly such kind of companies, they don't have long term employment of their employees. It is contractual employment of the employees. That means only the employees were employed for a particular project or a particular period, they were employed, and once the project got over or once their particular employment period got over, only if his performance was good, he was continued in the company or he was laid off by the company. So in such kind of companies, they had regular performance appraisal where they used to evaluate the performance of their employees. They used to give rewards to the employees who achieved greater output. So like that, by having control over the output of the subsidiaries, they were able to control the operations in the subsidiaries. Now, this is indirect control, informal control, that is known as normative control through socialization. So, this is an informal type of control. It's a subtle form of control. That means It's not a visible form of control. It is a very subtle form of control. So, socialization means how the company develops its organizational culture. Each company has its own values, corporate values, and norms, which they make sure that the employees, whoever join the company, they understand and they adopt these corporate values and norms, that is known as socialization. So they achieve socialization by induction programs, such kind of programs to make the new employees understand what is their corporate values and norms. So even during recruitment time, they recruit only those candidates whose values match to the corporate values. Only those employees are recruited into the company. So the companies develop such kind of strong organizational culture, which is a kind of informal control, indirect form of controlling the operations of subsidiaries. Here there are no direct rules, procedures, no direct supervision by the headquarters. By developing the strong organizational culture and making sure all the employees of the subsidiary follow that organizational culture, they make sure they are able to control the employees and also control the operations of subsidiaries. Then informal control through mutual adjustment. This is through informal process of communication. There are two types of communication in companies. That is the formal process of communication, which is visible to everybody. That is where memos, letters, emails are sent amongst the employees, which is visible to each other. There is another form of communication within the company, which is an informal process of communication, which is otherwise termed as grapevine. So, this is a natural process of communication where the employees, because of their interrelationship between each other at the workplace, they develop this informal process of communication. They develop working relationships among themselves. They develop working friendships among themselves. So, through this informal process of communication, that is the grapevine, the companies are able to control indirectly the operation of